Does Trump want Netanyahu out as Israel's prime minister, raising fresh questions about whether the US president still sees Bibi as the man he wants leading Israel? Calling Netanyahu his own worst enemy, Trump has openly questioned Bibi's chances of winning the next election and staying in power. Trump has stopped short of endorsing Netanyahu, fueling speculation that the Israeli prime minister may be facing growing frustration from his most powerful ally. Has Trump abandoned Netanyahu? As Bibi reportedly seeks a clear White House endorsement, the Israeli leader appears increasingly eager to secure Trump's backing. With Netanyahu facing political pressure from former IDF chief Gadi Eisenkot, the big question is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore: who will Trump ultimately back? As Netanyahu slips in the polls, tensions with Trump appear to be widening, raising the stakes for Bibi's political future and the future of their alliance. Netanyahu has even rejected key elements of Trump's Gaza plan, but with disagreements growing between the two leaders, is the once unshakable Trump-Bibi alliance beginning to crack? As Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu seeks another term in office, a new report by Axios has revealed the latest apparent strain in his relationship with US President Donald Trump. According to the report, Trump has described Benjamin Netanyahu as his own worst enemy, highlighting the growing tension between the two leaders despite their previously close political ties. The reported remark comes at a crucial moment, as Netanyahu is seeking Trump's political backing ahead of Israel's October 27 election, hoping that an endorsement from the US president could strengthen his campaign. However, Trump has so far stopped short of publicly endorsing Netanyahu, even though the two leaders have repeatedly described themselves as friends and have maintained a close relationship on major political and security issues. Axios reported that Trump's hesitation to back Netanyahu is partly connected to the Israeli prime minister's weak standing in the polls, raising questions about whether an endorsement would actually benefit either leader politically. The report further stated that Netanyahu's Likud party is currently running neck and neck with, or even behind, Gadi Eisenkot's Yashar party in some polling, adding to the uncertainty surrounding the upcoming election. Meanwhile, opinion polls reportedly show Netanyahu's coalition bloc falling short of the 61 seats required to secure a majority in Israel's Knesset, potentially making it difficult for him to form a government after the election. In a sign of Trump's apparent interest in Netanyahu's electoral prospects, the US president reportedly asked the Israeli prime minister just 2 weeks ago how he was performing in the polls ahead of the October 27 vote. Netanyahu reportedly paused before one of his advisors told Trump that the Israeli leader was winning the race. However, polling now presents a far more difficult electoral picture for Netanyahu, with his coalition trailing its current Knesset strength and struggling to reach a governing majority. Netanyahu's coalition is currently polling at roughly 49 to 53 seats, well below the number needed to govern. His governing coalition currently holds 68 seats in the Knesset, meaning the projected loss would be politically severe. A governing majority requires at least 61 seats in Israel's 120-member Knesset, making every projected seat crucial. Opposition parties are polling at roughly 67 to 70 seats, potentially giving them a clear route to form the next government. Gadi Eisenkot leads Netanyahu on favorability in several polls, giving the opposition a powerful figurehead for this election. Netanyahu may not need to win outright if he can prevent his opponents from forming a government, turning a narrow electoral defeat into a longer political survival strategy. Bibi's current strategy is to deny the opposition enough seats to form a stable coalition, hoping rival parties fail to agree on a prime minister and governing agenda. That outcome could force another election and keep Netanyahu as caretaker prime minister for several months, allowing him to retain influence despite failing to win a clear mandate. Trump's closest advisors once expected him to endorse Netanyahu during the campaign, especially after years of close political cooperation and shared wartime messaging. Trump had also publicly pushed for a pardon to end Netanyahu's corruption trial, framing the legal proceedings as an obstacle to Israel's political stability. But the prolonged Iran war saw Trump and Netanyahu's political interests begin to diverge, as Washington focused on ending regional crises while Netanyahu faced pressure to preserve his coalition. Two senior U.S. officials told Axios that Trump still likes Netanyahu, but has become frustrated by several recent decisions. Trump has been asked 4 times recently whether he endorses Bibi, but each time he stopped short of giving the Israeli prime minister the public backing he wanted. Trump has described Netanyahu as a great wartime prime minister in several recent interviews, but his use of the past tense has added to speculation about their changing relationship. Trump has also not publicly renewed his earlier calls for Netanyahu to receive a pardon, another sign that the president may be keeping his distance from Bibi's domestic political battle. Trump needs Israel's election settled so Washington can push forward its Gaza peace plan without prolonged political uncertainty. A stable Israeli government could help keep the Iran crisis from returning to full-scale war, especially as U.S.-Iran diplomacy remains fragile. Washington also wants to advance negotiations between Israel and Lebanon, where unresolved security issues continue to threaten escalation along the northern border. A settled political situation in Israel could also help secure a wider security agreement between Israel and Syria, a key part of Trump's regional diplomacy. Trump is also seeking to broker a historic Israel-Saudi Arabia peace agreement, but Israeli political paralysis could delay or complicate that larger regional goal. Preventing another Israeli election cycle is therefore important for Washington, which needs a functioning partner in Tel Aviv to deliver its broader Middle East agenda. U.S. President Donald Trump's push for a lasting peace in Gaza is facing a major obstacle from one of his closest allies, as disagreements over the next phase of the conflict continue to complicate efforts toward a long-term settlement. Israel has made Hamas disarmament a key condition for lasting peace, insisting the Iran-backed group must give up its weapons before a long-term deal can move forward. Moreover, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected Trump's 15-point peace plan for Gaza, signaling continued differences over how the conflict should ultimately be brought to an end. Netanyahu has stated that there will be no military withdrawal until Hamas is genuinely disarmed, reinforcing Israel's position that removing the group's weapons remains essential to any future military pullback.
As for the Gaza Strip, first and foremost, I wish to clarify the main point. As long as I am Prime Minister, a Palestinian state will not be established, neither in Gaza nor in Judea and Samaria. Neither Fatistan nor Hamastan. Regarding specific matters surfacing in the news lately, I wish to be precise here. Israel does not accept the 15-point document. I have heard people saying, "You didn't say it." So here I am saying it again. Israel does not accept the 15-point document. The IDF will not carry out any withdrawal until Hamas is disarmed. And when I say the disarming of Hamas, it means heavy weaponry, lighter weaponry, all weaponry. And we are talking about genuine disarmament, not fictitious disarmament. Right now, we are talking with the Americans about this issue. They have ideas, some of which are acceptable to us and some of which are unacceptable, and we know how to stand firm against these things. We have proven this in the past and we are proving it today as well. Furthermore, the IDF will continue to thwart threats against our forces and our citizens. The existence of Israel and the security of all Israeli citizens are not up for negotiation. We stand firm on these interests. We do not do this in advertising agencies, we actually do it on the ground. We proved this all over and over, when we entered Rafah and the Philadelphia corridor, when we entered Lebanon and eliminated Nasrallah and the rocket stockpile there, and when we struck Iran twice. Unlike all those who lecture us, we do what needs to be done for Israel's security, and we can and know how to stand our ground, even against our best friends when necessary.
Netanyahu's opponents reportedly fear Trump could still step in with a last-minute endorsement, potentially giving Bibi a major boost before Election Day. According to Times of Israel, Gadi Eisenkot, Naftali Bennett and Yair Lapid have reportedly urged Trump to remain neutral and stay out of the election. Trump said in June that he would most likely support Bibi, but added that he wanted to first see the full field of candidates before making a final decision. With Election Day approaching, Netanyahu's biggest foreign political advantage may still be uncertain, as Trump has yet to officially guarantee his support.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HD app. Download now.